Howdy, howdy. So I had the idea to do a video just kind of gold fishing against a sort of CPU type opponent. So we'll see what that looks like in just a little bit. Really wanting to just run through some lines. I'm not too familiar with using Eloquent Eulogy. I haven't done much testing with it. So I really want to practice identifying those lines in those places where it can be really useful and really unique. Especially using the Eloquence, but also just using it as a really low cost attack. In order to give context to those lines, though, I wanted to really quickly run through the deck I've been playing. I'm not going to go into detail. If you're watching this, you probably know how to play Vynnset. So pretty standard equipment. I'm not running Scepter in this list just because it's expensive for redline. This is a sort of redline build. It's pretty typical, at least for what people are playing right now. So also not running Oval because I think Grimoire is better. Crown, Tunic, Quillhand in every matchup. Grasp is out of the deck for right now, and the Spellbound Creepers, obviously. My attacks, I'm running my 9 2-costers. I'm running only Widespread Annihilation main board, not Destruction. I'm running only 6 Deathly Whales, not the blues, and the Destructions are out to avoid as many yellows as possible. And then my Eloquent Eulogies. These are really my combo-oriented cards. These are my damage-oriented cards. These are my disruptions. I've got my 0 for 4s down here. Rabble, Swarming, Bounding, all good. 11 sources of Go Again. And just these are great to replace Envelop in Darkness as we go into an Enigma meta. 0 cost Shadow, really good. If we go into an Enigma meta. And then my Runechant providers, I've got Incant and I've got Revel, Reed, and Funeral Moon. These I have separated out. These are my Eloquence targets. Those are what I'm going to really try to, hold and banish maybe, hold to Read the Runes and Arsenal more. And then down here, just cards that don't really have a place among the other categories. Beseech Pumps, obviously I'm playing them. Art of War, especially as we're getting more aggressive, is good. Oblivion, yeah, we're playing Revel, we're playing Deathly Whale, we've got Vexing Quillhand, we're playing Revel, or Oblivion. And then Blood Tribute is my pet card. I really like it, but still testing with it. I have played like 3 games with it, and actually I played 3 games with it in the deck, only 1 game with it boarded in, and then I've been running through lines, and it's a card. We'll really quickly look at my sideboard just to get a complete picture of the deck. Ebb and Fold is AB, also really good as a super, super aggressive option into like Enigma, just because you're never going to really be pressured to block. So if you just be smart with your arsenal, Ebb and Fold can be a really good option. Widespread Destruction for those decks that we want to be disrupting, and those decks where we want to be kind of blocking and trading damage. Sink Below for those blocking games, sort of Ninja, Azalea type, and Guardian type. Carrion Husk for those same matchups except for Guardian and stuff that's going to maybe just kill us with Carrion Husk once we block with it. Chains and Balance to counter Brute and stops and card draw. Runic Reckoning here as a 3-block pump, but not in the current aggressive build. And then Sonata Galaxia as an extra copy of Incant for the matchups where having an Incant on the board is really relevant. All right. That is about the most efficiently I've done a deck tech, so let's play some lines. Alright, so I want to really quickly run through how I've been doing these sort of goldfish games. So I've given my opponent 2 pieces of Battle Worn 2, or Temper 2, but same thing. Temper 2 equipment, 1 piece of Nullrune, and 1 Valiant Dynamo. So those are for use in blocking, breakpoint on hits. We've also given our opponent 4 Titanium Baubles, and these they are going to regain every turn. So these are used to block breakpoints. Say if we send like a Naked Deathly Whale for 3 and 6, that's not something we should be doing, so we're going to punish ourselves by blocking 6, and so we won't get our Runechant for doing that. We're not really trying to, win. That's not really the goal here. We're not trying to just force through damage and have the most crazy Christmas Wonderland combos we can get. We're really trying to temper our expectations and really restrain ourselves to what we can reliably get out of a combo. So that's how these are going to be blocked with. If they block with these, say they block with 2 of them, and we send a Mauvrin Skies and a 6-power attack, so they block for 2 of them, and then they have 2 left over. What these are going to do is, if we have a hand of cards, we can either take 3 for each of them, or trade a card, or at least 2 block of equipment. So Crown or Fyendal Spring Tunic and Creepers to prevent the damage from one of these, and then any that we don't prevent or trade a card for, we will take 3 damage for. The reason we have Valiant Dynamo is if our opponent keeps 2 of these and has a counter on Valiant Dynamo, then we will they will get to take the counter off of Valiant Dynamo for, you know, say they had Hatchet, they would pitch a blue, Hatchet, Blade Runner, Hatchet, refresh Dynamo. That's something we can reasonably expect a warrior to do. So we're just giving our opponent a good way to prevent things and make our life a little bit harder. But other than that, we're trying to deal 40 damage before we take 40 damage and have the best lines we can and really set ourselves up for success. We're not dealing with any disruption coming our way. Our entire deck is all that aggro board I just went through. So let's shuffle up and tick our Tunic, see what we can do. So looking at our first hand, we have pretty good stuff. Eloquent Eulogy, really good. I almost want to send Mauve Eulogy Flail, even if that's turn 1, just to get an Eloquence banked. However, I don't think I need to do that. I will still banish the Eulogy, because if we banish a Deathly Whale, we're only going to be at 2 chance next turn, and that's not going to guarantee us anything. So we'll get a Rune Chant from that. And I would really like to make a second Rune Chant or do something else with this turn. These cards are definitely very good. There's maybe a world where I banish the Deathly Whale, send Eulogy pitching a Mauve off of the back of a Mauve, and then Flail, and, you know, our opponent blocks with 1 card, 2 cards on the Eulogy, and then a 3rd card on Flail, so they don't take any damage, but we get an Eloquence, and we have a Whale and banish. Let's try that line. Let's try that line. Banish the Whale. We aren't going to have any Rune Chants, but we'll have a Eloquence, and we might be able to find a Read the Runes on top. So we're going to live in that magical Christmas dreamland for just a little bit and have some fun. We'll do Mauve and Eulogy pitching Mauve. So this will be 1 and 4. Since it's turn 1, we're going to have our opponent block, block, block. Of course, they're blocking this for Mauve, and then we will Flail afterwards, and our opponent will give us a card. And we don't really get anything in terms of damage, but we do find ourselves an Eloquence token. That could totally be wrong. That's not what I would do in a usual game, but we're having fun here. So, draw on up. And our opponent now has these 4 cards because it is turn 1. So we can either trade them cards of our own or take some damage. We did find the Read the Runes, which is great. However, we didn't find another attack, which sucks. We could totally trade this Tear Through the Portal, Arsenal the trade the Tear Through the Portal. We have to banish one of these, unfortunately. I would totally like to Arsenal the Oblivion. Oh, this is really unfortunate. I don't think we Crown here. I definitely want to play the Read the Runes. And I kind of want to send the Deathly Whale, but it's not important. Like, it's not vital. I could Arsenal the Read the Runes. So it'd be block, block, banish Oblivion, unfortunately, and then Arsenal the Read the Runes. That could be what we do. But I would totally like to play the Read the Runes and Arsenal something else that's useful. So we will give our opponent a card and take 9. It was either Oblivion or Beseech, because Tear Through the Portal with a Deathly Whale is really good. And then we'll just have to banish the Oblivion, unfortunately. So we took our damage, we paid our bills. We will just banish this Oblivion, get a Rune Chant, tick up Tunic. We have Eloquence, but we are just going to play a Read the Runes. If we find a Read the Runes first, then we hold it for an Eloquence, but I think if we have an Eloquence, we should still just use our action point and our card to get the Read the Runes out when we can, which will kill our Eloquence. We'll keep this in banish and take a damage. We actually owe ourselves another damage from last turn. And then we'll just Arsenal here. So we have our 4 Rune Chants. Opponent still has 4 cards to attack us with, but that's okay. We do find pretty good cards here. We only can banish one of these, and we can either arsenal or play this Revel in Ruinblood. I am leaning towards playing it because afterwards we aren't going to have any cards in banish, so it'll be really hard to put ourselves in a situation where it is helpful again. Or we can try this Widespread Ruin, Revel in Ruinblood, or arsenal the Revel in Ruinblood if the Widespread doesn't hit. Let's do that for fun. So we're going to block with 2 cards and take 6. And obviously, this is not going super great so far, but it's okay. So we'll take up Tunic, banish a Widespread Ruin, get a 5th Rune Chant, and we will open up with Tear, paying the life into Deathly Wail here for 11. Now, there are definitely opponents that would just go ahead and block this out, which would honestly make some sense to do. However, I do still have an extra card. They should be keeping their cards to block a Mauve. And there's not an on-hit here. We're just going to ship this 11 damage to them. Of course, as with everything we do in this sort of gold fishing, there's no guarantee every opponent is going to do what I choose to do. There's no guarantee most opponents are going to choose what I choose to do. But I'm trying to follow some consistency in how I've been assigning my blocks, and also use my insight as a Vynnset player to give my opponent blocks that maybe lesser known players or lesser educated players on Vynnset would do, or would not do rather. So we hit our 11 damage, and then we're just going to break the chain and get 2 Rune Chants and fire off 2 and 6. Give them 2 and 6. Breaking the chain again will banish the top card of our deck. Do not hit a Blood Debt card, so this is just going to be gone. And we're going to pass to Arsenal. So tucking this in Arsenal, not the most exciting thing. Really not super happy to be doing that, but it may be okay. So we come back to our opponent's turn, and we have to look at what we can actually do here. What can we do? We do have Revel. We have Art of War. We have Tunic up. We have Funeral Moon to get a 2nd Rune Chant, and we have Vexing Coilhead to get up to 4. We can theoretically do Art of War, Annihilation, Revel, Annihilation. Although we won't have played another non-attack action. We would have to draw into one. So I think what we're actually going to do is on our opponent's turn, Tunic Art of War, and we'll put this in banish and draw 2. And we'll say +1 as well. +1 and draw. And we kind of draw into the nuts a little bit. So we have this Funeral Moon. We have Swarming. We have our Go Again. We have Annihilation. So we're actually just going to ship us to the damage. We'll take 12. And we'll play Funeral Moon to make a Rune Chant. And now, come to our turn. We are going to banish this Widespread Annihilation, make a Rune Chant. We'll check up Tunic as well. We'll break Vexing and get another 2 Rune Chants. There's totally a world where we don't have to break Vexing here. We can just do Swarming Gloomveil, Mauvern Skies, Revel in Ruinblood, Widespread Annihilation. And that could be right. And we'd hold on to an Annihilation, but I'm kind of low on HP. I want to push damage. I want to strip cards, a lot of cards. I want to get a Blood Debt out of my banish zone, and also make use of this Revel while it is very, very relevant. Of course, if I keep Vexing... If I keep Vexing and Annihilation and Revel, no, I won't be keeping Revel. Yeah, we're just gonna do this. Ship it. If I keep an Annihilation and no Revel, then it could be really hard to play out. And again, I'm low on HP, so we're gonna ship it. Break Vexing, send Mauve. So this is 4 and 6 with the Mauvern Skies on hit. So we could either have our opponent block 3 and 6 here, and then they'll just end up banishing this last card. So I think it makes most sense for them to pitch it, and they'll have 2 resources floating. And then just block the 6 here, take no damage on the Annihilation. So then we will send forth the Swarming Gloom Veil, which is coming for 0 and 4. So we will have them take 4. And then we'll break the chain, play Revel, get our 4 rune chance, and send 4 and 6. Our opponent blocks 2, takes 2, and then can take 6. However, there is this equipment, and I think the kind of, when you're getting low on HP and you haven't found a good place to use your equipment, you should really use your Battle-Worn or Temper 2s so that you don't get stuck on a combat chain where you die without being able to use them. So we're going to do that for them. So then they'll just take 2. And then that's that turn. Our opponent doesn't have any cards left to attack us with, which is great, because we have really been kind of getting battered this game. And we draw into an okay combination of cards. I think we're just going to end up banishing Annihilation here, ticking up Tunic, and then sending Swarming, Rabble, Flail, Arsenal, Revel, so that we can play Annihilation on a future turn. So we will go ahead and do that now. So since Swarming, 1 and 3, and then Rabble, revealing a red, so 4, and then we'll follow with Flail, paying a life on our end. They'll give us Dynamo, as they should, and then we are going to take 1 to Blood Debt, Arsenal, and pass. Actually, the fact that we know they're going to give us Valiant Dynamo, we shouldn't even swing Flail. Let's not even swing Flail. Valiant Dynamo is there to counter Flail or be emergency breakpoint coverage. Alright. Alright, so I'll take my Blood Debt, which I think I am owed still, and we draw into some mid. Our opponent still has 4 cards here to threaten our life with, and we're kind of okay with that. We're going to give them the Crown and lose one of these Shadow Puppetries, hoping to find an attack, which we do. Very nice. So now we do want this Funeral Moon, and we do want this Mauve. We don't need Shadow Puppetry, although Shadow Puppetry will be giving us a breakpoint, which could be handy. And I believe is, because we're never going to hit on Mauve. So then we'll just donate Mauve and take... Oof, I don't like the idea of being stuck taking 6 here. I think that's just where we're at. No, we're gonna have to give these. Because we need to pay the life to... Actually, no we don't. We can go down to 1. And then we'll play the Funeral Moon on our opponent's turn and get a rune chant. And yeah, so then on our turn, banish Ruin, tick up, we'll do Puppetry, not paying the life, into Ruin, so this is 2, so we'll have them take into 7, which is covered here, and then breaking the chain, play Revel, and these are all used. Revel into 4 and 6, which our opponent can block 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so they do die. Very close little game here. Wait, hang on. They were at 3. They can... Never mind. Hang on. 4, 6. They can block, say, 1, 2, 3. They're not dead. They're not dead. They're not dead. 3 there and take 1, and then 5 here and take 1. And then it's on us to find a way to kill them without being able to get really anything. So let's figure that out. Put everything where they belong and draw up and hope for the best. We do find a eulogy. We do find an incant. We have a revel, but we can't take damage to it. Incant is huge here. Eulogy is also huge here. Eulogy taking 3 cards from our opponent is amazing. And then we can Arsenal Revel. Yeah, let's just play that. That's about our best line, I think. So then we will, I guess, pitch for Incant. So we can keep our tunic counter for an emergency. And then we are sending 1 and 4. Our opponent will give us 1 and 2 cards. Okay, yeah. Obviously can't manage these cards. And then I'm arsenaling and passing. And our opponent is threatening us with 1 card. I am going to Gamba because I have to. So we're going to go ahead and block with 1 card, which we have to do. And then give our opponent all of their resources back. On our turn, banish Phantom Wraith, make Rune Chant, make another one here. And we're going to Tunic Art of War, choosing Go Again and draw. To draw 2 cards. We do find a Read the Runes, which is definitely important. So we have Go Again from Art of War. So we will do 2 and 6 Go Again here. So our opponent will block 2 and have 1 floating. Oop. And then block 6 on the Wraith. We will activate Spellbound Creepers. Pitching here. Play Read the Runes and get 3 Rune Chants. And then break the chain. And play Revel. And get 4 more Rune Chants. And then we are free to send 7 and 6, which does get us there. Drawing the Read the Runes off of the top was good. I really had a good feeling I was going to draw a non-attack, simply for the fact that I had not seen a Beseech the Demigon. At least I don't think. Yeah, there's 2 Beseech the Demigons down here. Maybe I saw one earlier, but I had not seen very many Beseeches. I was pretty confident that I definitely had a fair chunk of non-attack actions left in my deck. So we do get there. Not brainless, honestly. It takes, there's definitely some consideration for not just what you can do now, but your long-term survivability through the rest of the exercise. So let's, if I can, grab all these, put my deck back together. Let's run it back. Run it right back. Before I do, I want these because they're easier to manage for pitch than dice. And let's run it. So turn 1, trash. We really just are not drawing anything. This is so bad. So let's check up Tunic. We definitely want to resolve Incant. We definitely want to play Read the Runes. which we might not actually get to do because this hand is so bad. Maybe it's banish, incant, play, read. No, that's not it. If I banish, play, pitch, play, there's nothing. So we'll actually arsenal the read in hopes of finding an eloquence, which I think is, in all honesty, the right thing to do. Okay, so I think the right play is going to be to banish the Ravenous Rabble, unfortunately, make a rune chant. We will play out the Runeblood incantation, pitching the Beseech the Demigod, and arsenal the Read the Runes, because we might find an eloquence later, which would be nice. Saving Grace, we do not draw into, we do not take blood debt. So we do find the Eloquent Eulogy, which is pretty awesome, and along with another Read the Runes, which is also pretty okay. Blood Tribute is fun. So what I'm thinking is Mauve, Eulogy, Flail, and then we get the Eloquence and we can play the Read next turn, so then that would just be block with Read the Runes, play Blood Tribute. So we'll just do that. Block 3 with Read the Runes, take 9, immediately down to 31. That's really an unfair part. You know, what opponent is dealing 12 damage on their first 4 cards? I doubt it. But it's okay. Alright, anyway, back to our turn. Pick up Tunic, Eloquent Eulogy, get our rune chants going, and it's just going to be a simple Mauve Eulogy. So 3 and 4 here. Now this is interesting. And I think, so my opponent should be trying to prevent the Eulogy effect. Even though I can Flail, I feel like, you know, I've got the Mauve. They're already going to give me, you know, 2 cards. What I'm thinking is if we let them block with these, then they can cover Flail with Valiant Dynamo. Oh, they'd have to, no, they'd have 2 cards. They would pitch here. They would cover Flail with Valiant Dynamo, cover Eulogy with the 2 Galeas, and then have 3 cards to swing at us, which would refresh their Valiant Dynamo. Or we can just let them keep one of the Galeas and only have 2 cards, which I think is good. So we'll do that for them. So we do not have any rune chants. This does not hit, but we will Flail, taking a damage. They block with Dynamo. All good on their end. And we'll end with Blood Tribute. So let's check the top 3 cards. So this is a good hit. This is a really good card. Honestly, all of these are good. Like, every single one of these are really, really good. I think I like all of them, and we'll just banish the Phantom Wraith to start. So we will just banish for Blood Tribute. And then that's it. I'll take 1 to Blood Debt, and I do get my Eloquence token. And cool. So, honestly, nothing seems amiss probably to my opponent after that Blood Tribute, because I do have Incant, so it would make sense for me to try to find a 2-gate. Anyway. So we're down at 29, opponent's still at 40. Really blocked us out that turn, but we did get our Eloquence. They denied our on-hit. Now they have 2 cards here, so that's going to refresh their Dynamo. And we honestly have kind of drawn into the nuts. Like, this is a really good hand of cards. Let's just take it. Down to 23. We're just gonna shoot damage at our opponent. So passing over to our turn, it will be Banish Deathly Wail, so we'll get a rune chant, and we'll get another one from Incant. Tick up Tunic, and we'll just immediately play Read the Runes, using our Eloquence and going up to 5 rune chants. And then we'll do Tear Through the Portal, paying a life. And then This is 5 and 5 go again. First one's unpreventable. No on hits, so opponent's just going to take 10 for us. How kind of them. And then we will Ravenous Rabble, revealing a yellow. So 3, unfortunate. And then it's going to be Break the Chain to get 2 rune chants from Deathly Whale. Rune chant? Rune chant. 2 rune chants from Deathly Whale. We'll play Revel while we have a card to play with it. And then 6 and 6. Taking 12. Because there are no on hits and they're just going to shoot 12 damage back at us. Alright. Back to our opponent. They have hella cards for us to deal with. We have Swarming, Bounding, Mauve. Man, I mean, we've got a turn lined up. I think we'll block 3. Just take 9. Unfortunately, but we're going to start closing this gap here. So now we will banish Bounding, make a rune chant, make another one from Incant. We'll open with Swarming Gloomveil for 2 and 4. Opponent's going to take 6 for us, and then Mauve into Bounding for 4, which our opponent will block for 3, 4. And then we'll follow with Flail, which our opponent will block for 1. And then this has been used. Oblivion, my good friend. Well, this hand is kind of bogus. They have 3 cards for us here. I could use Crown now to try to find a card now, but I don't need to. Although I would really like to get an attack and banish this turn. I think it's actually important to get an attack and banish this turn, so we'll go ahead and Crown, sinking the... Actually, we might play this Oblivion. We have Revel and we have Vexing Coil Hand, so we will sink a Mauve. And draw a card. Find Ravenous Rabble. Boo, boo. I could do Ravenous Rabble, Creeper's Mauvrin Skies to be at 2 action points, Revelin Runeblood up to 4, Vexing up to 6, Oblivion, make Nazareth, swing Nazareth with 1 action point, swing Flail with another. Honestly. Oh no, I have to banish one of these cards. Never mind. I have to banish one of these cards. Boo. This deck sucks. Okay, so I blocked one of these. I can block with 2 more cards. Honestly, I really do not mind having Oblivion when I have Revel, but I can't keep them both efficiently. This is probably my banish. This is unfortunate. This is really just sad. I don't need to play Rabble. I don't need to keep Revel because I don't have another attack. I don't have anything to really use it for. It's probably Arsenal Mauve. So we'll just block with 2 cards and take 0. I know they're all 2 blocks, but we're just trading card for card. That's the deal I'm making. Okay. Really, really, really unfortunate. We'll just have to banish Oblivion. Make a rune chant. Arsenal, pass. Pass back to our opponent who is loaded on cards. There are all the attacks. Just what we were waiting for. I am honestly not all that impressed. I could totally do Ruin. and like try to draw a or like try to like get a card off the top. So in that, let's see, we have 30 attacks and 30 non-attacks in the deck. I've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 attacks. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 non-attacks. It's not great odds, but it's at least something. So if we're going to keep anything, we're going to keep a widespread ruin. And we're going to keep a tear through the portal. So then we'll be blocking with 2 of these and taking 6. Okay. And they don't have their counter there anymore. So, on to my turn. It's going to be Banish, Ruin, make Rune Chant, losing can't. I should have lost it last turn. Tear, pay life. Because if I don't hit, this just sucks. Let's do Mauve, Ruin. So that's 2 and 6. They're just gonna block for 6. Take 2. And then we'll send Flail, paying a life. They block with Dynamo. And then we'll break the chain. Not hitting, of course. So then that's just going to be our turn. Drawing up. Drawing trash. This is probably just a fat loss here. I think this is just a loss. I mean, I have Go Again in my arsenal, so I can just banish a card, and then we'll just hold on to, I guess, a buff. So, yeah, we'll just block. Block with 2 cards. And then they get their Dynamo back. We are arsenaling. We are taking 1 to Blood Debt. We are making a Rune Chant. And we are passing. Okay. I mean, we drew cards. So I only need this card. Yeah, I only need this card. So I can give 3 cards here. Or I can find... So my highest value line here is... No, because I'd have to find the Rune Chants to play them. Yeah. I can give 3 cards here and take 3. Yeah, so we'll do that. Blocking with 3 cards, taking 3. I'm really just struggling here. Like, we're struggling in this round. So this time we're just going to banish, make Rune Chant, break Vexing, make Rune Chant, tear, not paying the life, annihilation. So 4 and 6 here. So we're kind of in that same position where, you know, our opponent could just block with 3 cards and save 1, but then they would just have to banish that card because they took 1 damage. So we're just gonna have our opponent block for 4 and 6. They'll have 2 floating. Good for them. So then 4, and we'll just take this for right now. And a lot of them take 2 because they're at low HP and we don't want them to not get their block value. Yeah, not looking especially great, although our opponent has given us their entire hand, which is what Widespread Annihilation is for. So I think the only real line here is banishing this. So if we banish this, there's no way for us to, like, we could play this and take damage and play Funeral Moon, but we literally cannot do that without dying. We want to get Deathly Delight played so that we can chip some damage in and like gain a life. So let's do banish shadow puppetry, make a rune chant, and then it'll be delight pitching here. So it'll be 1 and 5. So we'll have our opponent take 1. And then as life totals get kind of down to it, we can just have our opponent block with 2 cards. No, we're not going to make them go all the way down to lethal. Although if we do, you know, if they just block with 1 card and take 2, let's see how that goes. Because then they have 3 cards, so we need to give them like literally like a lot of things. So they took damage. So we'll go ahead and, if we take any damage, we'll be like dead. Maybe Funeral Moon is good to hold on to. Let's play Funeral Moon. Since somebody took damage, we'll make our enchant now while we still can. And then we'll gain a life. And then we draw until they're not all the attacks. Okay, great. So they are threatening us with 3 cards. We will be giving them 3 cards. And back to our turn. Banish. So there's an argument to hold this. You know, we have a card in banish, we have rune chants, like this is not a terrible place to be. However, then we have an effective trade on our armor, and then we have to give 3 more cards, which, like, then we'd only have a banish. So I think it's worth threatening here. So 2 and 6, they're gonna pitch 2 to preserve HP and not die, and then they'll just give us 6. They could give us 3, 4, 5 and keep 2 cards. I think that's probably right, because then they can refresh Dynamo. So 3, 4, 5, and then no, if they take 1, they go down to instant lethal range. Yeah, if they take 1, they go down to instant lethal range. I don't think they would. I think this is right. So blocking there, which is good. And then we'll draw up and be attacked for 1 card worth of damage. We have swarming, we have incant. 1 card worth of damage is very sad because we can't actually do much about it. I would really like to do Eulogy, Creepers, Incant, Pitching, Annihilation, follow with Swarming, maybe even end on Flail. But I can't do that, because in order to do that, I'd have to give my Creepers and my Tunic. Tunic doesn't matter, but I do need the Creepers. So in that case, it's probably just block here, Arsenal Swarming, play Incant, banish, and play Eulogy. So let's do that. Block 3. Opponent gets all their stuffs back, and then our turn, we will banish Eulogy, make a rune chant, pay with Tunic for Incant, and then send Eulogy. So this is 1 and 4. We're just gonna have our opponent give us 1, and we'll do 4. That makes sense, because then they get to refresh and send 2 cards. So, well, Arsenal and pass. Not necessarily happy with the results, but they definitely happened. And draw back up. We certainly do have cards. We can play this, snap, no problem. We can... it's tough. I'd really like to do swarming. But in order to do that, I have to banish a non-blood debt. Swarming, Flail would be 2, and then 4, and then 4, and then 1. They have this to pitch for 2, then 3, 4, and then 3, 4, and then coverage on the 1, but then they don't have any cards. Oh, but I have to give 2 cards here. No, I can block with armor. No, I can give this and this. Let's try that. I wish I drew go again. I'm down to 13 cards in deck. You know, we're really struggling here. This could just end up being a loss. But we're gonna play it the best we can. I would love to do Eulogy Creeper, or a Eulogy, like, if I still had Tunic. Tunic, Creepers, Revel, Swarming. But not possible as it is. So we're just gonna go ahead and block with our 2 cards. Give them their resources back, and then our turn, we'll banish a Revel, make a couple rune chants, take up Tunic also, and send our turn. So 2 and 4. They're gonna block for 2, and then they're gonna block for 3 and 4, and then 4 more, which they block for 4, and then Flail for 1, and they give us the card. And now they do not have any cards, and we finally have the room to try and put something together with the bottom cards of our deck. We don't have any chance. So let's look at this hand. We have a good banish, a really good banish. We have 9 cards left in the deck. I do not remember what cards I have pitched. I don't think many. The cards I am looking for are Funeral Moon, Read the Runes, Revel, but there's... Revel wouldn't really work. I'm looking for Funeral Moon. I'm looking for Funeral Moon on the top 2 cards of my deck. That's what I am looking for. So that I can do Banish Bounding, pitch Artivore, Deathly Whale. Oh, that doesn't really work. That's not really great, is it? I think I definitely need to play this Artivore just to dig. Let's play Artivore on our opponent's turn. We'll pitch Deathly Whale and banish Bounding Demigon. And draw 2 cards. Well, there it is. Okay. So we have a banish. We have a turn. We can do Mauve Bounding Reed. That'll take 1, 2, 3 cards from our opponent. And then we can use Armor to block the last one on their turn. But then we're stuck with a Funeral Moon and Banish, which just is not going to fly. So then we have to banish Reed. Get our enchant, stick up our Tunic, take this down. And then we're going to send Mauve Bounding, so 2 and 4. So like we said, they're gonna give us this and this and this. They could let one through here. Although this is go again, so, or this is Mauve Sky, so they're not gonna let that hit. So they're gonna block 4 there. And then we're just gonna play Funeral Moon and get a rune chant. And then we have 1 Titanium Bauble to deal with, which we can trade armor for if that's what we want to do. We draw our other Art of War. There's definitely a Revel. No, there's not. The Revel's down here. I forgot. And the other Reed is too. No, there's still a Reed in the deck. No, never mind. I drew it. Fuck. I really don't want to lose. I'm fatiguing myself. This is tough. I thought it would come to this, like, if my opponent really does have 4 blue 3 blocks and a bunch of armor, like, it can totally just come to this. This is the first time it's happening to me. I would love to sneak a damage in on a Deathly Delight, but I don't know how possible it is. If I can, no. So if I do Widespread Ruin, it's 2 and then 9. So then they give all of their cards, and then I can sneak 1 over with Art of War. If I do Deathly Delight, then it's 8. They still give all of their cards, and I do not sneak 1 over. But I want to gain the life. I want to gain the life so badly. No, it's 3, but it doesn't matter. I'm never going to sneak 1 over. This is tough, man. This is really tough. I think what I'm supposed to do is Arsenal the Art of War. Oh, man. It's so bad. It's all so bad. I can't even afford to keep something in blood debt. I think I'd actually just fatigue here. Because I can Arsenal Art of War. I can't Creepers Besiege. If this is a blue, but I don't have many blues, I could do Pitch Blue, Creepers, Besiege, and then just chuck the Ruin from hand, which would be awesome, but I wouldn't even be able to do that. I'd have to give the Creepers on this turn. Tough luck. This has been awkward the whole way through, I feel like. But I mean, I'm really, really feeling it. It's probably block here. Because then I can send and threaten their whole life total. And then Arsenal the Art of War. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm just walking into a loss here, but I'm going to play it to the last card. So, Widespread Ruin. Ruin Chance. You know, I like playing in these, like, really tough late game situations with Vynnset. I think she does really well in them. Right now, it's just not working out. So we're going to Besiege, not going to pay the life, and send 3 and 9. All of our opponent's cards are spoken for. Arsenal Pass. Why are these cards, like, crazy? These cards are so good. The bottom cards of my deck are nuts. Okay. I am actually just losing, but it's been real. I can do Mauve, Deathly Whale, Flail to kill myself. Beseech, Deathly Whale. Pitching here, banishing Mauve. It's only going to be 3 and 9, or less actually. Yeah, it's just a loss, so we just lose. But again, really close, really just working to find lines. Like I said, the goal isn't to win. The goal isn't how hard you win or anything, you know, really just playing for ourselves. That's going to be my whole video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was interesting to you. I can put the rules I've been following for this kind of thing I've been doing in the description, because I think it is a decent exercise, just really for running through your deck and finding like good situations for yourself. Yeah, hope you've enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you feel like doing that. Adios.